The biggest shift is starting to understand more marketing, more branding, and then systems. Because in service-based businesses, leads is very important. And then starting to build a brand, the difference between, like I've trained guys and they go out and do their own thing and they try to immediately start charging the same price we are, and then they cut it in half, and then they discount it more. They have no brand at all. And so it's hard to charge those prices. And then it's hard to grow without systems. So without repeatable systems for hiring, for training the dog, training the human, doing whatever the service is in any business, if you want to scale past like 3 or 4 people that you can actually manage, if you don't have systems for them to manage, they can't really do it.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast. And I am excited about this conversation today because not only am I excited about just uncovering and hearing this guest journey to where he got to, but I have a personal interest in what he does. And so first off, I would like to welcome Ryan Wimpey to the show. He is the CEO, founder, owner of Tip Top K9. And for anyone that knows me knows I have 2 shepherds at home. And, you know, I was excited at this conversation the minute I saw it come through. And I just couldn't wait to dig in with the man. And I think it's more than just about dogs, right? It's a conversation that we're going to get into that talks about marketing, branding, starting from scratch, building up, and the process around that, systems around that. And I think this is going to be a really enlightening conversation for us all. So Ryan, how you doing, my brother? Welcome to the show.
Dude, I'm doing good, Brian. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, man. Now you're out of OKC, right?
I'm out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Now how far is that?
About an hour and a half. Not too far.
Okay. Now, are you an NBA fan?
Not really.
Okay.
I didn't grow up. The Oklahoma City locations trained like, I think 4 or 5 of the Thunder's dogs.
Oh, word. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, I got to at least imagine that you would like to see them win.
Of course.
Sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah. We finally got a team that's professional in Oklahoma. So
yeah,
you got to hope for the best.
Yeah, man. It should be a good one. I can't wait to the final start tomorrow. So, but cool beans, man. I want to get right into it. Like I mentioned earlier, you are the owner of Tip Top K9. And so I have so many questions for you. But let's start from the beginning, man. How did you get into this space? Like, was it a passion? Did you always love dogs? Like, just tell me about it.
Well, I always loved dogs. My family was avid bird hunters growing up. So there was a lot of duck dogs, bird dogs, pointers, etc. And so I was around it a lot, but really I just love dogs. Then when I went to college, I rescued a little dog off the side of the road. I bought him for $25, but he was basically like, hey, they rescued him and they're trying to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And he had like every behavioral issue possible. Yeah. And it just got me obsessed because, one roommate left, the other one threatened violence on both the dog and me both. So I'm like, hey, this behavioral issues, like these actually got to get handled. I cannot keep losing best friends like this. It's not gonna work. Mm-hmm. So it just got me obsessed with dog training.
Okay.
Fast forward 5-6 years, then I worked for some other people, and then eventually started my own in 2010.
Nice. So I guess when you first got into it, like, did you automatically know that you were going to kind of start your own thing, or was it just kind of a gradual thing?
No, actually. I mean, business is hard, right? So when I first started, I was like, God, I wish I worked for someone else again for like years.
Yeah.
Like no lie. Because it's hard, and it took me away from the thing that I actually enjoyed the most, which was the hands-on dog training and seeing the change in the client dog, seeing the client happy with these new results. So for a few years, I actually worked for someone else, loved it. It's just they moved, and I kind of had to make that leap. Put my big boy pants on and start my own thing, or go back to the cubicle and work in my dad's company.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah. No, I get it, man. Sometimes you kind of, for me as well, it's like you kind of come to a crossroads where you have to decide on which direction that you need to go.
Yeah.
So I respect it. I don't think I understood or realized that you started this back in 2010, man. Kudos and congrats to you for longevity and success. Clearly
working.
Yeah, for sure, man. So as we get into the conversation of you kind of building this business, I got more questions for you around just like dog stuff, just out of my own curiosity.
Yeah.
But would you say, like, how has the process been? Because now you have a franchise model, right?
Right.
And you're up to 24
24. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got 2 coming on soon, so we should be at 26 in the next few months.
Gotcha. So when you first started, did you realize that you were going to go the franchise route, or you were just trying to
No,
get one going, successful, rocking and rolling, and all that good
I was
stuff?
trying to pay off 8 credit cards when I started.
Fair enough.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And then it just blossomed into this, man. If you look at where you where you started and to where you are today, what's been the biggest shift for you?
Is starting to understand more marketing, more branding, and then systems. Those 3 things, because in service-based businesses, leads is very important, right? You got to have leads. And then starting to build a brand, the difference between, like, I've trained guys and they go out and do their own thing and they try to immediately start charging the same price we are, and then they cut it in half, and then they discount it more. They have no brand at all.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to charge those prices.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to grow without systems. So without repeatable systems for hiring, for training the dog, training the human, doing whatever the service is in any business, if you want to scale past like 3 or 4 people that you can actually manage, and if you want to put a manager in place to manage a team, or 2 managers for 2 teams, if you don't have systems for them to manage, they can't really do it.
Yeah. No, agreed. Got to imagine for a space that you're in, because it is so high touch and it's very personal. You got to have the right systems to bring on the right people to train the dogs, but then there's also, I would imagine, some level of process that you have to go through to vet that people actually know what they're talking about when they're coming in and training dogs, because you see it, man. Like I'm into dogs and I follow all kind of dog people, and it's like, oh, this person trains dogs too. Like, how long have they been doing it? Did they just jump into it? Like, what's the track record there? Talk to us a little bit about how do you navigate that, because it is nuanced. It's almost like
It is.
I can't think of a good example right now, but it's really nuanced because of you're dealing with not only the people, but an animal that's living, breathing, has its own set of emotions and has its own set of baggage in many cases, right?
So if you watch Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and he handles every situation a little differently, right? Or the people that make good TV, they're always doing all these new creative things. I do that. We have a system for training the dog and a system for training the owner, and I want my trainer to use all their creative energy on how do I do it for this particular dog with their nuanced weirdness or whatever, and this client who's, right? Because people learn different, dogs learn differently. So, for instance, if I go into a home and the dog's aggressive, wants to bite the Amazon guy, I'm going to teach the dog to come. I'm going to teach him to sit on a box or dog bed, and then I'm going to teach him to not look at the Amazon guy. And if it's a different dog and I go in and it's a Chihuahua and he's scared, I'm going to teach him to overcome his fear and come, overcome his fear and sit on the box, and then not look at what he's scared at. If the dog wants to jump on a kid when he's got a hot dog, I'm going to do the same 3 things. So, like, I would make horrible TV, but it's a system, and I'm applying it to whatever those issues are. Basically, I'm teaching that dog impulse control for whatever that behavioral issue is, and then I'm just changing a little bit of what I do and a little bit of how the client does it for that particular situation.
Gotcha. I love that, man. It reminds me of when we first got our boy, the black German Shepherd. He was a rescue. I think I mentioned this to you when we first connected. And my wife and I used to volunteer at a shelter. And we would go like every week, and we go clean kennels. We go walk dogs. I mean, as you can imagine, the shelter, they have all kind of things in there, and it's 4, 5, even 6 dogs to a run sometimes. So this particular day we went in, and he was just there. Like, we had been in there earlier that week, and I didn't see him, but it was like, the following Saturday or whatever it may be, we were walking through, and we're like, all right, let's take a few out. And then I see him, and we instantly just kind of connected, right? We gravitated towards each other. I mean, he's solid 85 pounds. He's big. He's like very just intimidating looking, but he wasn't afraid of us. He wasn't afraid of me. And we're like, all right, let's try this guy out. And so, long story short, we end up taking him home. They had a program to where people who volunteered at the shelter could take him home for the weekend. Take him home for the weekend, you hang out with him, all this good stuff. You bring him back one Monday. Well, we were like, nah, we're not taking him back. And so, but at this point, he's like 2 years old. He already has his own set of like just behaviors and a personality. And we're like, yo, this is pretty easy. Someone who had him was, someone who had him previously did a pretty good job with him. What we didn't realize is how intense he was. The moment he latched to us and he realized that we were not giving him back up, we took him to a restaurant. We tried to sit in there, and a mailman comes in. He has on a mask, and immediately jumps up, barks at him, reacts to him. I mean, shakes up the entire restaurant. So much so, Ryan, that was our first time ever hearing him bark.
Yeah.
And it shook my soul, man. Like, and immediately I was like, oh, we got to get a trainer. And I feel like so many people don't, like, they get dogs that don't understand, you know, they don't understand what they have. They think it looks cool. It's all these different things that they see online. And not to go off on a tangent, but I would imagine you probably deal with a lot of that. People, you know, they get something that they don't realize that they have. They saw something in a movie and they want one of those, and then now they got to come to you to help fix the situation.
I saw a dude station just a few days ago, and he's like, I know about y'all because I drive a yellow vehicle, wear a yellow shirt every day. He's like, I know about y'all, but I know you're expensive. I don't have the money right now, but I got a Belgian Malinois, and it's insane. It's so crazy. Everything they said online is true. He's like, any like word? I'm like, yeah, he should calm down about 8, 9 years old. The guy's like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm like, no, it's you got exactly what you thought you were gonna get. Congratulations. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, buddy.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Yeah, man. How much of it is, and I think I know the answer to this, but I would love to hear your perspective on it. It seems to me, based on all the research that I've done on you, man, it seems to me you're, in many cases, training the owner more than you are the actual dog, or if, at least not the same.
Literally just straight down the middle, half and half. Like, I've got to condition the dog, but then I have to teach the owner. Like, I train her dogs, and they never listen. She's not trainable. She's a great lady. She's amazing. Love mom. She's probably not watching, but I mean, she doesn't listen. Yeah. She doesn't listen. And the dogs know. The grandkids know too. The grandkids know grandma's never going to force anything. Dogs are just the same. You have to train the humans too. Human training is a big part of it. I can give you a perfectly trained dog. If you never enforce anything, dog knows what they can get away with.
Yeah, they do. And then it's breed specific sometimes too, from what I've seen. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't, like I said, our shepherd, it took him a while to get along with my mom because my mom stares. And I was like, I said, Mom, you stare at him? That is just not good. I mean, just imagine someone stares at you, right? That's a direct challenge to him. And so we're training him out of that, right? It's just all kind of stuff, dude. I can geek out on it. I really can.
But yeah, some of the breeds, like you could take a border collie or golden retriever, it doesn't matter what you do, dogs don't listen and behave. Mm-hmm. But you put a Malinois in the same house, and that person's not going to get anything from it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Cool, man. Cool. So you and your wife, is your wife involved in the business as well?
Heavily. Yeah. She does a lot of the coaching of the locations. She manages corporate with 32 people, the call center, the corporate staff. And then she coaches a lot of the locations. So she does more management, HR stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. Now, how, I would imagine she's some level of a dog owner too, but how has that been working, like building a family business and then specifically around this? Like, what's been that process? What's been that journey?
It grew after she came on. Mm-hmm. She was helping a friend scale their business. And all of a sudden I was like, this seems dumb. What? I'm like, why is she helping Whitney scale his business and not me scale mine? So then I asked her to come work with me. I thought I said for me, but she heard with me. And to be honest, Brian, the first 2 years were challenging. I'd already been doing it on my own for like 7 years, 7, 8 years. So the first 2 years were pretty challenging. Like, hey, this is my lane. Let me drive all in yours. Mm-hmm. It's not easy. A lot of people recommended, even mentors at the time, they're like, hey, it's not a good idea. Don't do it. If you like your relationship, don't do it. It's hard. And it was hard, but it was the best thing for our business at the time. Mm-hmm. And I don't regret doing it because without her help, I don't think we'd be where we're at.
Yeah. It seems like I would imagine she'd probably balance things out.
Absolutely.
What you do versus what she does, right?
Correct.
What do you feel like? Because I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs go through this, but what do you feel like the toughest part of that process? Is it around like relinquishing control? You're so used to doing certain things your way, all of the above.
Relinquishing control. So it's saying, hey, this is your area, and I trust you enough to do it. I trust you enough to make decisions, and if things are wrong, I trust you enough to fix them.
Sure.
Instead of, hey, I control every single little thing, and it's the Ryan show. So when it was the Ryan show, it was the me plus 3 show, and it stayed that way. I never got bigger.
Gotcha.
Able to start to relinquish some control. The more control I relinquish, the more it's able to grow. But then, who's new, that's hard for them, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Safe.
Yeah, it does. It does. It does, man. Now, when you have people come on who buy into the franchise, what's that vetting process like? Of course, there are the standard things like, certain fees associated with it or whatnot.
Sure.
But what do you look for in kind of an franchise owner?
One of the things we talk with them about, we don't have an actual written out thing. Really, what the biggest thing I'm looking for is a love for dogs. If they don't have that, it doesn't matter. They have to actually love the dogs, and then they need a little bit of grit, hustle, muscle.
Yeah.
Right? That's the biggest thing, regardless of any franchise they buy. Now, our fees are really low. It's like $48,000 and includes gear and 6 weeks of training.
Oh, wow.
So it's a pretty low fee.
Yeah.
Most of our competitors charge like triple that. I want people with grit, even if they only have enough money for like half a Suburban, right? I still want to make that available for them. But that's really the biggest things. And then hand-eye coordination. I mean, the difference between me training a college athlete and training Karen from accounting is like 3 times as much work.
Wow.
Yeah. So even gamers that have finger-eye coordination, they're used to making little changes. They're used to assessing something all the time.
Yeah.
But the college athletes are used to being coached and changing little things.
Okay.
Both of those kind of make good dog trainers. We got a kid coming on right now. He's 22. He's going to open in Wichita, Kansas. Yeah. And but yeah, baseball gamer, lots of hand-eye coordination, lots of coachability. So then after that, they normally come in for a 10-hour shadow day.
Okay.
And then we actually work hands-on with them.
Okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Then obviously we want to make sure they're good personality fit as well. But
yeah. No, that's interesting, man. That's really interesting. But when you bring on kind of an owner or a franchise operator, I would imagine there's a level of this where they really need to be fully committed to this out the gate for several years, I would imagine, right? Because in this environment that we're in now, everyone's talking about, starting a business, buying a business, franchising a business, whatever it may be, and then people want to be absentee owners and all that good stuff. How does that fit within like the universe you're operating in? Because it is so hands-on and so personal, like it's your style. You just can't. Someone who is new to this space, you just can't come in, get training for 6 weeks, and then you're like, you know what? I'm a hire a general manager, and maybe eventually, right? But
eventually, this is not that. So people that are interested in that, I'm like, hey, I think you need to look at like a Jimmy John's, right? If you have $500,000 in the bank, probably don't buy a Tip Top.
Yeah.
Right. Start to buy a Jimmy John's, get a loan for a 3-pack, and go that route and hire general managers and train people really quickly.
Yeah.
But when we have people's dogs, it's like their children and they care a lot. The owner's going to be the one. We require someone at least a 40% owner to come to the initial training.
Okay.
Because they're going to train other people. We only have one location and it's actually our top performing location, but the majority owner didn't actually come to the initial training. But he came from the franchise world.
Okay.
He owns multiple other businesses. He is an excellent operator. Everyone else, we have people from all walks of life, HVAC, mortgage brokers, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the business, he's the only kind of exception. Like I said, he's very sharp. And his 1.5 years was ugly.
Please tell if you can.
Yeah. Well, so the minority owner came to training, trained her, great gal. Right. But then as the majority owner, he doesn't have a way to physically hands-on check the systems and processes. Right. He doesn't know if his manager is actually doing an exceptional job or not. He's managing his also business partner, right? Who's kind of the operations manager. Yeah. So it puts him in a harder situation. So she ended up leaving. He actually came for some training. And then we trained some more of his people, and now he's good. But now he at least has a baseline knowledge of the systems and how everything worked. Without that, it was a little more challenging for him to really make sure everything was 100%.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. I guess what was that switch for you to decide that you were going the franchise route? Like, what year was that? What made you be like, you know what? I think I can do this at scale. I know systems were a huge part of that, but
Right.
when did you make that call? Like, hey, this is what I'm going to do next.
2017, we were like, hey, it's time to expand.
Okay.
Our Tulsa location was running great. It was basically running if I showed up or not, and still profitable. So I'm like, okay, I'm working 4 hours a week right now, so it's time to start up some more locations.
Yeah.
So we opened 2017. We opened up 6 locations in different states, or 2 in Oklahoma, and then 4 in other states. We ran those for about a year and a half, 2 years until 2019,
Okay.
and those tractor setup model, it was our store and they were managing it, but we're paying them out a straight commission, like 1 check a month. Is those people are like, hey, check like 45 days later. So it's a good check, but it's rough. We don't know how to manage the cash flow, like kind of hard. So what happened is basically asking for it. So we did that type of model first, and then we're like, okay. Also, I was like, I don't know if I want to be traveling all over the place to every location nonstop because they're my locations.
Okay.
In there was the barrier to entry with dog training is low, kind of like what you said. Someone can hang that shingle and say, I'm certified. I printed it out myself.
Yep.
Look at this, right? So anyone can go be their own dog trainer if they so choose. So with the barrier to entry being really low, the ways give people equity.
Okay.
Well, why don't we go franchising and just give them all the equity, their business, and they're going to care even more.
Got it.
And then that's kind of the direction we chose.
That's cool. It's like you were patient enough to kind of listen and be aware of the signals to kind of guide you down, and you tried things too.
Being patient enough, that's a very nice way to put it. I would say we use more of a ready, fire, aim approach.
Okay. All right.
So we took our shot, and then we realized we need to re-aim. Right? That's more in tune with reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those are some very tough decisions that you have to make.
Yeah.
Right. And they impact, especially when you get to a point where the decisions that you make as a business owner, as a company, impacts the livelihood of everyone else that kind of falls within the imprint of what you have going.
Right.
But then respect to you all to not, I would imagine, I wasn't part of those conversations, of course, but to approach it and attack it from a place of like no ego, like, hey, we need to make some adjustments. We're trying to get better. We're trying to do these things.
Yeah.
I would imagine that went a long way, for sure.
To go from 1 locations to 6, you don't know what you don't know. You don't know. So if you're like, cool, well, I want to grow. Okay, cool. Well, after you hit 6, then your ideas of what you want or what you think you need, they're probably going to change a little bit. Every time
we implement something within the business, you can guarantee that it's going to take longer than you expect. And it's going to be something that's going to go wrong with it more often than not, for sure. Man.
But you don't know what that thing is.
You don't. You can't anticipate it. You can't do anything about it. It's the most helpless feeling sometimes. It really is. So I want to get into like what you've done to really, really build the brand. You touched on it earlier. But I love the fact that you stayed at a certain level, obviously, for a number of different reasons, but it seems like you really took your time to make sure that you locked in on the service, make sure it was as exceptional as it could be. You were focusing on the brand. You were focusing on delivering a quality, output, whatever that looked like, and the experience that people will have. And a lot of that, I think, in many ways, especially in the world of branding and marketing and trying to grow a business, sometimes people look at that and they, like you said, like they want to put up a sign and say, hey, I'm open for business. But the brand is usually reinforced in how you treat that customer day in, day out, and the consistency. And so you took the time to do that, but then there was kind of that next level where it's just like, okay, now we need to start putting out content. And I love what you share with me around how you've really been able to grow your content game quite a bit, specifically on YouTube, because you went from, which is good to start with, right? You went from 4 or 5 thousand
Yeah,
subscribers, right?
5,000.
Yeah, and now you're over 230,000, and
Yeah.
in a relatively short period of time. So
Yeah.
what was that switch like? What was the game changer for you?
4 days, we added 130,000
Wow.
people. Yeah. So the big switch that we said, hey, I got to go heavy on content is I was talking to a franchise lead, and we spend a lot of money to get these franchise leads with meta ads,
Okay.
right? And talking to him, and this is a sharp dude. He's managing a car lot.
Okay.
Right? So he's making between, is what he's saying, he's making between 170 and 220 a year.
Okay.
Right? So that's a hard position. Now he's working 80, 90 hours a week to make that.
Sure.
And so he hates his life. And I want to do something else. I've been following dog trainers on YouTube, watching dog training videos all the time. I like training with my dog. Between Tip Top, opening a franchise with you guys, and going to this other guy to learn how to train and then doing it myself. And he mentioned the other guy who I'd heard of, but didn't really know that much about.
Okay.
Right? And I'm like, okay, so I go to his channel, and it's like 2 million subscribers. And I go to his website, and he's got 2 employees, and he trains out of his house. Well, so a lot of our locations start out of their house too. It's not a big deal. But this he's making 200 grand a year, and he says, I'm going to put my future in the hands of the guy that has 2 employees. And he really, like, there's trust there. He's watching all these guys' videos. He's talking about them. And I realize all of a sudden, like, he trusts this guy. He feels like he knows this guy, even though it's just this guy's content. He hasn't met this guy. He doesn't know anything about this guy. He only train 3 dogs a month. He has no idea. He's training on YouTube, and all his income is monetization, and he's training his neighbor's dogs. Legitimate business, it doesn't seem. Not going with us.
Wow.
Got like 32 people at corporate. We have agencies we work with, and so I'm like, and the thing that blew my mind is I'm like, okay, a lot of what you see on social media, whatever, it's not real. But like, this guy was sharp.
Yeah.
Sharp. He was not dumb. Very, very intelligent guy. So I was like, press. Full shot. Everyone, shots on goal. Immediately, full court press on YouTube. YouTube's second biggest search engine. That's what we're going for first, and then we'll go TikTok next. So full court press, and we started throwing up content and seeing what worked. And when we started putting up content, then we could kind of see what worked, what didn't, and then we just kept putting up more. And I'm like, all right, well, respond to every single person as fast as you can. Poke the trolls, right? Hate bait the trolls, and just get the comments on there as fast as you can and engage with people. And we just kept putting up content. And then now we're starting to get in a groove. And so I have 2 people that basically 6 out of their 8 hours a day, they're working on videos.
Yeah.
They're working on editing content.
Yeah. It's like that.
And so now that's why our channel is just like, whoop, right? And so really we grew it. We started growing the subscriber base with shorts.
Okay.
And then now we're starting to focus more on that long content to build that trust and engagement.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, it's crazy to hear that story, right? To hear that story and to know that this particular guy that you were talking to, he said he was sharp. You had conversations with him. He didn't know the other guy, but he had more of a relationship with the other guy because of the content.
Trust this other trainer who's a YouTube personality with 2 employees than someone with 24 locations and 32 employees.
I mean,
I don't know how long the other guy's even been doing it, but we've been doing it since 2015. I've been training longer than that.
Yeah.
Or sorry, we've been doing it since 2010, so 15 years just with Tip Top, but I've been training longer than that.
that's wild, man. That is wild. I am kind of dumbfounded by that. But again, I keep telling everybody on my team, our clients, we are in a trust economy right now. It's like everything of what you're doing, you can run ads all day. You can even I tell people, I preach this in our meetings. Do not put up an ad if you don't have anything organically going, and if you haven't taken the time to really perfect and craft like how you want to communicate to the people that you're going after. Because people are going to see that ad, and you're going to check everything else, and they're like, nah, I'm good. and you wasted money. And you mentioned earlier, right? Like your acquisition cost on a lead for a franchise owner or prospect is pretty high. I would imagine it's probably decently high on the other side of it too, from a training aspect. You may not have to spend as much on that side, but now that you've gone all in on YouTube, I would imagine your acquisition costs have actually come down, right, to some degree, or your inbound.
Yeah, some of our locations are getting organic leads now.
Yeah.
As of like last week, we had multiple organic leads just from YouTube.
Mm-hmm. It's a real thing, man. It works.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah. It's taking time.
Yeah.
Now it's just, time making videos, making thumbnails, obsessing on the thumbnails, etc.
Yeah. I love what you said about that. And to even go into that further, put into perspective. So there's the quick win that I would imagine people see. And I'm using air quotes for people who can't see. Right. Quick wins. You've grown, in a fairly short period of time as far as your actual subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
What has it taken all the way up into that point to kind of craft and perfect and like test out? Because I know you weren't doing content as much, but What were you testing with? What were you doing? Like, what made the shift happen?
I had a lady who's 20, and I'm like, look at dog videos and tell me what we need to make, and then make it.
Yep.
Again, I'm ready, fire, aim.
Yeah.
So let's put out stuff, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, that hit. Okay. We're like, oh, that doesn't. Anything that comes across even a slightly egotistical title, trash, horrible. No one's clicking, right? If you pump yourself at all, people want to be entertained, right? So the entertainment, the joy factor goes really big on YouTube. They're curious. The curiosity doesn't necessarily build it as much as something that's funny. So we posted a video, and we have locations. We have them send us all their video, and we edit it for them.
Oh, really?
And then put it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So some companies they'll like teach people how to edit their own stuff, and I'm like, hey, no, you train the dogs. We'll edit your stuff. So like the Tampa location, he sent us video. He did a $7,000 boot camp with a 3-legged pit bull, right? Wow. And he's training it on the beach. And so that video's got like 110,000 views on it. But we took his 5-minute of content and made it into a 45-second short that was like 3 legs, and then the legs go across the screen, 4 thumbs up, right? And then people are like, that's ridiculous. But stuff like that, that's what's actually growing the channel.
Wow, that's cute.
Or we do a stay, and we do a little funny voice over the stay, like, you're not going to leave me here, are you? Seriously, that's it.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it.
And then now the more real content is coming, now that we've kind of hooked people.
Yeah.
The engagement from the shorts, the longs with the more real, nitty-gritty, meaty content.
Yeah, interesting stuff, man. That is, I would imagine that taking that route, I mean, it's, again, I'm speaking from a place that I'm speaking from a perspective of someone who has a lot of contextual knowledge around this, because my feed on IG is like basketball, business stuff, dogs, and like other things, right? So I can see exactly what you're saying. But another question I have for you around the content that you put out on YouTube specifically, I noticed that you also talk a lot about business stuff too. Do you feel like was that addition intentional to kind of broaden the audience a bit?
Well, kind of like you mentioned earlier, a lot of people are wanting to start their own business, right? I think it's like 40% of people in the US, like 20 to 45 are thinking they want to start their own business. So that means 40% of my audience. So our audience, we really see it as four audiences. I have the people that are dog owners that are not connected with us at all, right? But they're dog owners. They like dog stuff. I have the people that are like Tip Top family, like they're Tip Top canine clients or Tip Top canine trainers. Then I have people that are trainers, probably in other brands, but they're interested in anyone who has knowledge. And so they're following or kind of watching what we're doing. They don't know if they even like it or not, but they're watching. Or they hate us and they're still watching. Either way, I'll take that. And then the fourth is that person in one of those categories that also wants to start a business. So we do throw some business stuff some hard hitting business stuff out there, but not a lot. It's not the main focus of the channel.
Yeah.
But I do want to hit people with that because I think that's some of our market, because a quarter of our locations were either corporate trainers or clients. Okay. So we have a lot of clients that have actually opened a Tip Top because they're like, what the heck? Like we had a guy in Owasso, Oklahoma, small town. I trained 2 of his pit bulls like 9 years ago. He was an HVAC technician. And then when we franchised, he was like, hey, could I do this? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. He's like, oh, this is awesome. He was actually doing a rescue and using what he'd learned for free on rescue dogs. Yeah. And so for him, it was like a no-brainer. But a lot of clients, they've already seen how good it works. Yeah. They've already experienced the company. So that's why we put out the business videos.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. And one thing I forgot to ask earlier, but call out in addition to that, the fact that you all, and I don't know that I'm not a franchise expert, but I think you're the first person I've heard say this. For the owners that you bring on, like you're actually taking their content and you're editing things and editing videos for them. Like that's a huge value add for someone that's coming in and they're trying to, because man, anyone that has played in the content game, like, it is some tedious stuff, bro.
It is.
And if you're trying to run a business and then do that on top of it, it's another business that you got to manage, damn near.
It is. So yeah, some of our the normal thing for like a dog franchise or other service-based franchises is they're going to show you how to manage your channels. They're going to show you how to edit your own videos. But the difference between a good video editor and an awesome one, or like good and sucky, is huge hours spent on whatever platform you're using. We met with a TikTok influencer with like, she's got 2.5, 3 million followers or something. She can edit on her phone faster than anybody I've ever seen. But that's because she's posting like 5 to 7 a day. People like that, most people can't do that. And like our people, they love it. One went to school for this, right? The other one's just obsessed. Like they want to do this. Like this is their jam. The difference between that and someone who's like, I got to edit this real quick before I go to my next appointment. Like you're not getting views. You're burning your time.
I got a couple of guys on my team who live and breathe just content and editing, and I can't tell you how many times I've been with them. We've been on sites with clients. Yeah. And they're shooting stuff and then they're on their phone and 30 minutes later, like they have 3 or 4 edits. And I'm like, dude, how in the hell? He's like, I know exactly what I'm doing before I shoot it, and I already have a vision.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
you got to be.
Yeah, the difference between that and them showing someone else how to do it at that level, it's not going to happen. It's not that it's going to take a long time. It's just literally not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to happen at all. It's just going to get lost in your phone or your computer, and you'll get over it one day, and it's just not.
Or it's going to be 20% as good. Yeah. And so it doesn't matter that it happened. Yeah. Because YouTube's a hard critic.
Yeah.
They kill the videos so fast now. If it does not good content and it doesn't go up, they're killing those videos fast. Like I have a few testimonials. We animate all our testimonials now, and lots of stuff moving on the screen. And I can see like they'll be like 2,000, 50,000, 300. And I'm like, YouTube just killed it.
Yeah.
No,
you're right. You're right, man. You should give a masterclass on YouTube, bro.
Not yet.
Specifically for this in your sector. You could do it. I think you could do it. Cool stuff, man. So what's the future look like for Tip Top, man? Like what do you have on the horizon? I would imagine as you continue to scale and grow, expanding the franchise network or whatnot. If you feel comfortable, like what are you working on next? What are you trying to do next?
We're growing to 40 locations right now. We have a lot in the works, and then we're also releasing a book mid-September, dog training book. So pretty excited about that. And then we're trying to build that national brand. Like we have 24 locations, but I'm in my city where I've been for 15 years. Last year I did a sales appointment training a manager, and it was a mile from my shop where I have 4 yellow wrap vehicles and a billboard facing the highway. And the lady goes, I saw your car the other day. Are you guys new in town? And I was like, damn it. I am still not doing enough. I've been in a mile from this lady for 15 years, and she asked if I'm new. And I was like, no one even still knows.
Yeah.
So I think Trying to push to 2 million subscribers on YouTube, getting to 1 million by the end of the year. That's our other big push, seeing if we can hit 1.5 by next summer, by really just better and better and better content and just pushing that bar higher. I think nationally for all of our locations to bring in more clients, that's going to really help us along with a book launch.
Yeah, cool stuff, man. I love the clarity of that vision. That's huge. That's huge. How does and I'm kind of, in many ways not tired of the conversation, but I feel like it's something that we have to have now.
Sure.
Whether it's externally, internally, we see all kind of stuff related to AI, right? How are you leveraging it in your business to help scale, systematize certain things? Because I think sometimes what happens, I have, very clear ideas around how this works, but for businesses that are traditionally hands-on, right, and it's not necessarily online and you have to work, in physical space.
Right.
I think sometimes it's difficult for people to wrap their mind around, well, how do I leverage AI for this type of business, right? But I think there are a ton of ways. Are you guys leveraging it in any way that you feel comfortable in sharing or that you feel like it's been extremely helpful to your growth?
Yeah, I'd say so. A few ways. One, in our call center, we answer the phone and do all the billing for all of our locations. So we have call center software that automates a lot of stuff. And so like one of the things, so it'll call 3 numbers at a time, right? So it calls 3 numbers at a time. Someone answers, it hangs up the other 2, or if 2 people answer, it hangs up someone else's phones and plugs them in. Okay. So stuff like that. We're going to booking software that has Google Maps integrated into it, so they can't almost double book people, and that makes sure there's enough drive time between appointments.
Gotcha.
So stuff like that. We're more hands-on. We're not using AI as much. Now, for some of the thumbnail stuff and some of the editing, that's really where they're using it a little bit more. But even then, we try to keep don't take every wrinkle out of the face, because I think even though it's getting better and better and better, people, at least still now, maybe not in 2 years, but they know if something's like a little off. Yeah. Like even on one of ours, I'm like, hey, this photo looked very real, and now it looks almost AI generated. Like, undo those edits. Like, hey, put those wrinkles back in the face.
Yeah.
Anywhere where we can overlay it on top of a process we already have. So like, I don't remember what the program is, but they use a AI to take all the captions, to close caption it, take the script, make the stuff like that.
Yeah. Gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm always curious. You see it everywhere now with all these different rollouts and tools and AI this, AI that. I mean, it's important, but what you're speaking to is a lot of what we're preaching to as well. Is like, all right, you leverage it in certain ways, but don't lose the human element to it. Right.
Yeah. The one way I forgot about this. The actual biggest win we've had on it is I was on a podcast with this AI expert. He showed me how to make a custom GPT sales trainer.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we use that. I upload all the scripts. I spent like 2 weeks on it. And now it can do like easy, medium, hard client role plays. It can add price objections, hidden objections, spousal objections. It can throw everything. And it's hard. It's very, very good. It understands our flow of how we do the consultation. Yeah. And ours are not like, we're going into someone's houses, so they're not like super salesy. And I need them to not come across salesy. Right? This should just be literally a consultation, but still help someone along the process. And that has been a game changer. Really? Yeah. It's so good. And it'll come up with more scenarios. And if you and I just role played, it'd be one thing, but the app is like ruthless. Yeah, it's way harder than a real role play.
Huh.
Yeah. So that's the biggest win, because we've had a lot of people use that, and we can just do new scenario after new scenario. And then that has been a huge win. It's just on a custom chat GPT.
Yeah. No, I get it. That's cool. Now, do you guys, how do you, and again, I'm going back a little bit as you're saying things, I'm remembering other questions that I should have asked you, but how do you all go about picking your locations or like where to open up, a franchise based on like where the interest is, or do you have to have kind of what am I trying to say? An easy way to navigate, or getting there or travel there on a consistent basis?
So Are you saying on the homeowners or on how we figure out which location would be good for someone to open a franchise in?
Open a franchise.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So we actually use a professional territory plotter,
Okay.
the company that does Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
And so what he did, he's like super nerdtastic, right? So this guy takes 2 years worth of data from all locations, and then he figures out who our ideal and likely buyer is of our high end and middle packages. And then he builds demographics within 30-minute drive times around those. So like our 4 core is 30 to 54 years old. Normally they're either 200 grand a year plus, right? Homeowners with some education. They're anywhere from 100 to 200 grand, homeowners with education. Both of those are families. And then there's basically the mirror of that for single people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, that makes sense. But yeah, so the higher the home ownership and the higher the education, the more they're actually spending on dog training, which I would have never guessed. So then he can literally plot those and on a map and then draw a circle around it within 30-minute drive times and go, okay, this would be a good location. This would be a good location. This would be a horrible location. Guesswork out of it.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I know we're getting kind of close to our time here, man, but I got a couple other areas I would love to get your thoughts on. And this is specifically, or I guess more broadly around just entrepreneurship, right? Because you've been in it for a while. You've seen it multiple stages from startup to sustaining to growth to scaling and things of that nature.
Right.
What's the biggest misconception that you feel like people have around entrepreneurship and building a business?
In my opinion, the biggest misconception with entrepreneurship is that it's going to be easy. So if 20% of businesses are failing in a year and 50% are failing within 5 years, how I read that stat is 20% of people are quitting in a year and half of people are quitting in 5 years. And that's because it's freaking hard.
Yep.
Business is hard and you can't believe everything you see on YouTube or TikTok.
They make it look easy.
They do. They make it look easy. Like, oh, I just need to buy his course and I'll be rich and have a Ferrari. And that's not real.
No, it's not. It's not. Far from it. Far from it. Ryan today, what would he tell Ryan from 10 years ago?
10 years ago, Ryan, I would say, hey, dude, you're not as smart as you think you are. Release some of the control to other people faster. You don't need to control everything. And I would probably just say that like 20 times and beat it into his head. Yeah, that was the biggest limiter. I was my biggest limiter. It was like a few years of my wife being like, hey, do you like the Ryan show? And I'd be like, I think so. And it's just younger and I had too much ego and pride and didn't think anyone could do it as good as me. Yeah. And that was a huge limiter. And then, we had guys that I trained and outdo me on sales records and stuff like that. I mean, that's life. That you should take that as a good sign. Like, oh, you taught them well. They had no experience, and now they're performing better than you. You should be very happy. But I think I had too much ego before.
Yeah, we all been there. Sometimes still there, depending on the day, right?
No doubt.
Well, cool, man. I won't keep you any longer, man. Again, I really appreciate your time and transparency around this. Like I said, I could have a whole nother conversation with you for another 2 hours just solely around it. It's something that me and my wife are really, really interested in.
Nice.
And, we have all this stuff and the things, and we got to drop it. We picked him up from daycare the other day because we had to go do some stuff. But it is, kudos to you and what you've been able to build.
Thanks, man.
It's really incredible to see, and I appreciate you again taking the time to join the show, man, and just sharing some wisdom and insight.
Of course. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, anytime. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining and tuning in to another episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast. And let me mind my manners. Ryan, where can everyone find you? Give me the website. The handles, all that good stuff.
You're good. tiptopk9.com, TIPTOPK, and then the number 9.com. You can look us up on YouTube, same thing. If you want to hit me up directly, I'm only on LinkedIn. Most of my time is spent on our Tip Top K9 socials. So I'm on LinkedIn, Ryan Wimpey, Wimpey.
There you have it, folks. y'all go out and connect with Ryan and Tip Top, and get some good lessons around dog training and building the business. Ryan's a real deal. Thanks again, my brother. See you around soon, man.
Thanks, man.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Heavy on Brand podcast, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. If you need more information on all things marketing and branding, check us out at thecarbonthread.com. Until next time, stay heavy.